WrestleMania 35 week rolls on. What's up, boys and girls? Happy WrestleMania 35 weekend to one and all. I am here with my final watch along of the week. It's been a really fun week on the YouTube channel. I've had a video up every single day. This is the third watch along that I've done. All three of these watch alongs were nominated by you guys on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. I took all of your suggestions and picked the three that I liked the most, and earlier this week on Tuesday and Wednesday, I did the main event of WrestleMania 20, and I did the Bret Hart and Steve Austin submission match from WrestleMania 13. Now it's time to do one that's really fun because this is the 30th anniversary of this show, the main event of WrestleMania 5, 30 fucking years ago. Can you believe that? The Mega Powers explode, Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage. I have a ton of fond memories of this storyline and this angle in WWE. One of the better storylines they have ever done. This thing dated back a year plus. I mean, that's how long they built to this WrestleMania match. And I have a lot of fond memories of WrestleMania 4. I had only lived in North Carolina for about 4 months. I had moved from Michigan down to North Carolina in the fall of '87. So where I lived was kind of a rural area and we didn't have cable available yet. So my parents actually, my dad had met somebody at work that he knew that could access cable and pay-per-view, and we went to their house so they could order me WrestleMania 4 and watch Macho Man win the title in the tournament. And you could see the signs, even at that show, that they were building to an eventual Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan match. These guys started having issues with each other at SummerSlam, little teases that Hogan and Savage had some dissension in their ranks, Hogan putting his hand on Elizabeth's ass. They had more dissension at the Survivor Series when Savage watches Hogan pick up Miss Elizabeth and give her a big hug, and he's a little bit freaked out about it. And then at the Royal Rumble, a couple of months after that, they nearly came to blows. So finally, they do the main event on NBC. It was Hogan and Savage against Bossman and Akeem. Elizabeth gets hurt. Hogan picks her up, carries her to the locker room, and they do the split in the locker room area or in the medical area with Savage decking Hogan with the belt and kicking his ass. Extremely memorable stuff and really well-built angle, and Savage was so intense. All of the promos they were doing on television leading up to this match here were crazy. Go back and find them on YouTube. Look up the build to this WrestleMania 5 match. It was incredible. Savage was sweating, veins popping out of his neck. He was so crazy intense, I thought his eyeballs were going to pop out of his head. It was nuts. You felt fearful for Hulk Hogan because Savage was nuts. And this was one of the first times Hogan had faced an opponent that wasn't some giant. You know, it was Hogan's and it was the Andres and the Bundys and guys like that Hogan was used to working with. Now he's working with a smaller guy in the main event of WrestleMania, not considered one of the best WrestleManias ever, but to me, it's the epitome of what a main event was, especially back then in the 80s. So we're going to take a look at that. Hopefully, during my rambling here, you have pulled up your WWE Network. You all know what to do. I'm going to give you the timestamp to go to. This one is a little different because there's no like video package or anything like that prior to the match. You're going to see Sean Mooney talking to a bunch of fans. And then right after that is when I want you to pause your network. So go to the 3 hour, 11 minute mark and 29 seconds. 3 hours, 11 minutes, 29 seconds. I will put that time right above my head right here. Go to that moment and pause it, and I will also put a screenshot up here right on the screen of what my screen looks like on the WWE Network. It's just a wide shot of the audience with a big WrestleMania 5 banner. So get your network to that point, hit pause, and I'm going to do a count of 3, and we will hit play together. My earbuds are going in. Cats are making an appearance. Hopefully they will leave us alone while we watch this amazing main event from WrestleMania 5, one of my favorites of all time, and should be fun. So get your network queued up, and we're about to do this in the count of 3, 2, 1, play. And Savage music is already playing. Second year in a row at Trump Plaza. Crazy that they went to WrestleManias back-to-back years. This was actually one of my more favorite Savage attires. Like, I love that robe. It's beautiful. The security in this was a trip. WrestleMania 4 was kind of the same way, but I distinctly remember this main event. When Elizabeth comes out, she's got like 100 yellow shirts around her. It's nuts. Very odd entranceway. Those are stairs. I remember a few wrestlers were tripping on them. Look at Savage. What a champion. What a champion. Jesse putting him over. You are a great champion, Macho, just like Jesse says. My earphones are in, so if my cat that's right below me is meowing, I apologize for that. Still a good-looking audience. I mean, they had the crowd really packed in there to the ring. Looks extremely crowded down there. I like the ceiling, too. I can't believe Elizabeth gets her own entrance. Yeah, Elizabeth, during this match, was also in a neutral corner. She didn't want to pick sides. She was always with the Macho Man, whether he was a heel or babyface. Now he's a heel again. But she didn't want to abandon Hogan either. God, she looks great. Back in the 80s, that hair. Check out Pat Patterson. Hands right around her. You're definitely safe in Pat Patterson's arms, Liz. She makes that 80s look good. Sometimes I don't know what we were all thinking back then in the 80s, but she is stupidly gorgeous. Look at Patterson. Easy, dude. Savage just full of energy. I love how the rule is always that the champion enters last unless the champion is a heel. Gotta have Hogan come out last. I remember that they kind of goofed up, they botched the music of Hogan a little bit there. Kind of started too late. Yeah, even Jesse's questioning why the champ came out first. Hogan must pose. Hulk Hogan always weighed 303 pounds. Bret Hart always weighed 234 pounds. Does nobody gain or lose weight in this universe? Wow, Hogan was not the champion for over a year at this point, which was crazy for the 80s, man. Savage had quite the run. A lot of Hogan foam fingers in the audience. A lot of them. Hogan had one of his classic WrestleMania promos prior to this match earlier on. He had a crazy one at WrestleMania 6. Like the Earth is swallowing up and I'm going to swim to safety and all this crazy shit. He did that a couple years in a row. I love how they always used to talk about doctored footage. If they only knew how easy it would be to doctor footage 30 years later here in 2019. God, I remember being a kid sitting at home watching this. This was actually technically the first WrestleMania I watched in my own home because I watched WrestleMania 4 at somebody else's and I attended WrestleMania 3 and 2 and 1 were closed circuit. Even though I really loved this main event, I mean, it was predictable as hell. It is the main event. I loved Savage as champ. He looked good with that belt, man. The Pukesters. Crazy. 1 year before, it would be Savage and DiBiase. with Hogan on the outside. Remember, Savage had some sort of a steroid-related issue with his elbow. That's why it's so taped up. Can't remember the full story on that, but it's something like that. I think Savage grabbed a foam finger out of the audience and tore it up. Shortly after this, Zeus would come on the scene. No holds barred. Finally locked up here, and Savage gets tossed. I love how Savage is such a smaller guy than Hogan, but he's not a small dude. They did one photo spread, or photo shoot with Hogan and Savage, like working out in the WWF magazine back in the 80s, and it was crazy how juiced up they were. Man. Hogan was a horse. Can't believe Earl's in there refereeing just a year after the double referee scandal. He's reffing the main event here. I'm not completely sure. It almost looks like that might be Dave Hebner refereeing, not Earl. There's a slight difference. I love when Jesse and Gorilla argue over shit. Jesse gets so mad. That's right. Blassie had Ventura for a short bit. Savage getting out of there. Hogan, please don't run. Not a good look for you. Oh, and Savage puts Liz in his way. Human shield. Come back on in, Hulkster. I can't remember who I rooted for in this match. Probably Hogan. Damn, Jesse. Yo. Did he just say a punch in the nose might be just what Liz needs? Dude. Who would punch Miss Elizabeth in the nose? The thought of that makes me sick. Look at Hogan. Fucking... the hell was that? Drop toe hold into a front face lock? Hogan wrestling in there? What, he spent some time in the dungeon that we don't know about? Stu was stretching Hulk? Come on, take your vitamins. Prayers won't save you. Nice belly to back by Savage. Savage finally getting some offense in here. God, he's so quick. Close fists. They are good punches by Hogan and good sells by Savage. I will say this, Hogan's WrestleMania 5, 6, and 7 matches were solid. I mean, even him and Slaughter, it's a pretty good match. Hogan was bleeding. It was dramatic. Slaughter sold his ass off. Hogan and Warrior more than lived up to expectations at 6, and Savage and Hogan put on quite the show here. Hogan just kicked out after a double axe from Savage. I love that. Armbar, knee on the face of the champ, or of the future champ, Hogan. Listen to the pukesters. Didn't Slaughter call him that? I think he called the ultimate puke and the immortal slime. Sarge. That skill wrestling gorilla. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that's Dave Ebner, not Earl. Just got a close up of him. I love Liz's dress. Not sure what the gloves are for, but she looks awesome. Going for the hair again. Nice. Oh, now Jesse's mad about the tights. He just said it's not cheating unless you get caught. Taking it to the floor. Jesse and Bobby, man. Oh, Hogan's got some blood on his eye there. I forgot about that. Oof. Savage taking a beating now. Hogan laying some elbows in. Oh, Hogan always did that to people. Hogan was dirty, man. Illegally eliminating people in Royal Rumbles. Helping Savage win the title at WrestleMania 4. Constantly raking guys' eyes and shit. Hogan was evil, man. Savage with the chin lock on Hogan with the blood. His face is purple. Jesse's getting very excited about Hogan's blood. I think that kid in the front row might have the torn foam finger. He's got a foam finger with no finger on it. Jesse said if Savage retains the title, we'll have two champions he likes. Ravishing Rick and Randy. Rick Rude, those are champions kids can be proud of. Rick Rude beat the Ultimate Warrior earlier on for the IC belt with help from Bobby. Hogan with some shoulder blocks. Atomic drop. Hogan with the running elbow and he misses. I haven't seen Hogan try to do a running elbow before. This is it. By the way, my feet are in the chair here, so if it's making any sort of a farting noise, it's not me. I swear I'm not farting. I've got headphones in, so I can't hear what the hell I'm doing. If I was, I would claim them, trust me. Please. Jesse, Jesus Christ. Please. Jesse wants the match stopped. God, Jesse. Chill, bro. Ooh, stomping on his hand. Hogan's taking quite the beating here from Savage. Oh, here comes an early Hulk up by Hogan. Oh yeah, my feet are definitely making noise on this chair. I want that big WrestleMania banner that's over the entranceway. I want that. Somebody break into the warehouse and steal it. Oh, I love this spot. Body slam over the top rope. That looked awesome. I remember that too when that happened. I was like, my God, Hogan just threw his ass right out of the ring. Oh, and Savage wants none of it. Savage can never decide if he loved her. He went from treating her like shit when he was a heel, loving her when he was a babyface, treating her like shit when he's a heel, and then loving her as a babyface again. It's like heel Randy wasn't allowed to care for Miss Elizabeth. Check out that dude in the tux. Damn, they've torn the apron off the ring. Oh, Elizabeth stands in front of the post to prevent Hogan from... Oh, and then Hogan gets posted. Liz, girl, you causing all sorts of problems. Gorilla is right. She is causing a lot of complications. Savage, don't be manhandling her now. Pointing in her face? I remember thinking, like, is he gonna hit her? God, he's putting his fist on her chin? What a dick. Oh, finally, referee comes to make sense of this. That's right, they send Elizabeth away. I remember after the match, by the way, I have it. I have this. I meant to show it to you in the beginning, but I have WrestleMania 5 right here. I think there's an exclusive on this where backstage there's some sort of a confrontation with Savage, Liz, and Hogan again. And that's where Sherry makes her an appearance. And that's kind of when Sherry gets with Savage. Savage on the top rope. Oh, and Hogan lands on the railing. Sells the shit out of the throat. God, Randy is always vicious on people's throats. He damn near killed Ricky Steamboat. I love that top rope clothesline move that he does. That's so awesome. One of my favorite Savage moves. Damn, Hogan just slid out of the... Ooh. It's a good elbow shot. Jesse. Savage is back on a roll here. Slams Hogan. There's the knee. That's generally the setup for the elbow. Hogan rolls out. He got the tape off of his elbow and choking out Hogan. He's got plenty of it. Oh yeah, this is where Savage just chokes him. If I remember right, he chokes him all the way to the ground here. I don't know how this is legal. The ref stopped counting and then starts counting again. Damn, Hogan's laid out. The big elbow. Wow, he nailed it. He nailed it good, too. Hogan shakes. And the big kick out. No selling bastard. Cena always wins. Or I think it's Roman always wins now, right? Or Charlotte. There's the big Hulk up. There's the first punch, second punch, third punch. Savage eats the boot. He sold the boot well. Leg drop. That'll do it. Jesse, this makes me sick. Oh, wow. I remember being happy. I mean, it was a year. And this was only the second time Hogan was champion. His first run was from 84 to 88, man. And now he's got it back. He's putting the belt on. I love it. It's a good-looking belt, isn't it? Thing's beautiful. Maybe I'll put it on and dance around the apartment to Real American when I'm done filming this. It'll be on my bonus footage DVD. I like that Hogan put the belt right on. He's like, my belt now. And you guys have to help me below. Randy Savage and CM Punk are two of the only world champions that I can think of off the top of my head. I know there's more, but off the top of my head that I can think of that turned heel in the middle of their run. Because Punk turned on The Rock in 2012, and then Savage did during the split with Hogan. 30 years ago, man. I am getting old. Many of you watching this with me probably weren't born then, but it was quite the time. Wrestling was a lot simpler back then. I didn't go on YouTube after WrestleMania 5 and complain about it. I just liked it. But not one of the strongest WrestleManias. But I had a couple of good matches on there. This main event was very solid. And two of the biggest names ever. And Hogan is posing his ass off. So Hogan would hold this belt for another year. Just like Savage, who would win it at Mania and drop it at Mania, Hogan would do the same thing, winning it here, and he would drop it the next year to Warrior. Jesse is all bent out of shape about Savage losing. I love it. And there's the man. Hulk Hogan at this time was only a 2-time world champion. Unbelievable. Well, I'm going to go ahead and shut this off now as Hogan continues to pose. But yeah, that was a fun look back at the main event of WrestleMania 5. And I don't know how many of you younger fans even go back and take a look at this very often. But if you've never seen it, hopefully today changed all that. And you like what you saw. Some of these matches were real fun back in the day, and I have a lot of fond memories of this. So that is going to be a wrap on WrestleMania week. If you are watching this on Saturday on the upload date, I will see you tomorrow for WrestleMania 35. I'm going to be live streaming my reaction to the whole event, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So as usual, it's been a great WrestleMania 35 week. Thank you for being an awesome audience. Thank you for your support, and thank you for watching. I'll catch you tomorrow. Be good. Peace.